Top of it, top of it. It's your boy Coach One Stack. We at it again, y'all. And I'm here to explain a couple different videos and a different coincidences between Ray J, and what Diddy had going on. Like I said, guys, I'm born and raised in Las Vegas. And if you do your files, if you do your homework, you'll see Danny Boy from Death Row, who was tapping Mary J. Blige when he was 16 and she was 24. You know, you watch this video, he came out. And anybody a part of the rainbow community, I totally respect you for living your truth. You know, shout out to you. But you know, you watch that video and Danny Boy telling Ray J, Ray J, he did some gay stuff. He did some gay stuff. Well, the thing is, I know that too. Because, see, living in Las Vegas, we have what's called your culinary union. These are the people who are the maids, the porters, that clean up the hotel rooms. Now, we talking way back in the days when Floyd was fighting under contract, before he said he was fighting for slave wages, over the MGM. Ray J used to come to Vegas. Y'all, if I'm lying, I'm flying. Because everybody in the union knew each other, man. Ray J used to come here, man, and he would have his little all-boy parties, and the rooms would be trash. And it would be used prophylactics with chocolate all over them, and the room smelling like butt, and he would always have to pay extra money. So this ain't nothing new, This is how it was back then. But when it was with Ray J, it was with B2K. As you know, Raz B came out. When he came out, to tell the truth, everybody thought he was crazy. So, it was Marcus Houston and Chris Stokes back in those days. They was having them all-male parties, which brings me to the Diddy party. During testimony last week, you heard a lot of the assistants talking about how when they had to go clean up the room after Puffy, how there would be human excrement and all kind of human excrement smeared all over the wall, blood and human excrement all over the sheets, right? And all kind of bodily fluids all over the room. Does any of this stuff sound familiar? Now, I'm not the smartest man in the world, but the only time you're going to have some human excrements, coming out of a man is if he's not used to having that type of intercourse. You understand what I'm saying? Because whether you know or not, for those of y'all who do, before you do something like that, man, you have to clean yourself out. Talk to somebody that been to prison, man, who just, they call it their pocket, their suitcase, their keister stash or whatever, and they're not even like that. They have to clean theirs out with a shampoo bottle to make it clean. But that means, to have this human excrement everywhere all over the room, that means it was guys virginity getting taken. It was people, who was getting taken against their will. You understand what I'm saying? And now this stuff is everywhere, because if you knew you were having that type of intercourse, you would have yourself prepped so that there was no trace of it. Because whether y'all know it or not, for those of y'all who have ever had that type of intercourse, the way it's supposed to be done, it should be just as clean when you put it in there as when you take it out. Period. It shouldn't have nothing on it. It shouldn't have no stains on it. Shouldn't have nothing on it. But this is what Diddy had going on. You understand what I'm saying? So this, I just want to let y'all know, man, everything that Ray J, man, he's sitting here trying to play innocent, like he didn't know what was going on. But he was one of the first ringleaders when it came to this type of stuff, y'all. Ray J was one of the first ringleaders. And as you know, he's sitting up speaking up for Puffy. He's speaking up for Jay. He's speaking up for Yeezy. And, because the last video I saw him, he wanted to be a barb. He was kissing Nicki Minaj's bottom because I want to be a barb. I want to be a barb. Hey, man, how come y'all, man, be a one stack. Be a Coach One Stack. Can you dig it? These are weak people in this industry. Can you dig it? These are very weak people in this industry. Now, I got a surprise for y'all, man. I want y'all to stay to the end of this video, because for those of y'all who stay to the end of this video, man, I'm finna really give y'all a surprise. I'm gonna give you my take on why he was having his Diddy parties at his house. And I want y'all to listen up close, and it's gonna make a whole lot of sense. Guys, thank y'all for just waiting till the end of this video and staying. This is a bonus for y'all. Now understand, the rich, they don't do anything unless money's involved. And they're not gonna mess off their money for nobody. So when Diddy has his parties at the house, when you having 200 and 400 people, as Ali Carter said, inside of this house with this rave music, you got the illegal narcotics going. If you notice, she said in every corner there was something else going on. She's like, in this corner it was this going on, in this corner it was that going on, in this corner it was that going on. Well, in one corner it was the little people that should have been in bed asleep, right? He had them part of the menu. So what I truly believe is that the rich and famous were actually paying Diddy, however they were paying him, Bitcoin, could be jury, could be contracts with Revolt, could be anything, probably not cash because it's untraceable, because you had princes, you had royalty, you had political people coming to these parties, and I believe they were coming to his parties, and he was providing their fetish at that party. Whatever their fetish was, y'all, he was providing their fetish for a fee, which is really some lightweight pimping, man. Which is when you talk to Ali Carter, she talks about the kids that were being brought from other countries that wouldn't be missed and that were forced to, let's just say, have relations with animals that run in the Kentucky Derby, and some of them didn't make it. Well, that's called bestiality, and if you take an animal who runs in the Kentucky Derby and you make them with a little child, they will most likely delete them. So Ali Carter would not, she knew exactly what she's talking about, because some of the things she's talking about, she wouldn't know unless she experienced it. She would know that it is a part of, when you have intercourse from behind, that it's good to clean yourself out. And the way they did that with Ali Carter and a lot of juveniles, per her words, the video's probably still up, very graphic, they would starve them like pigs. So that way, when the man came to do whatever he was doing, he didn't get anything on him. But if he did get something on him, some excrement, they would make the children lie in it, or they would make the children lie in the excrement. And then, these are fetishes, guys. That's called scat, S-C-A-T, scat. Then you had, the gentlemen who were making these boys have an oral fixation with them until they vomited. That is another fetish, where somebody vomits and they're made to, lick up all the vomit and stuff like that. All of these fetishes come down to power, somebody holding power over someone. Do you understand what I'm saying? And I won't even get into what she said about them drinking the fluids from an innocent child, and it keeps them young. Guys, that's true. That is a practice that started in Africa years ago under hoodoo and voodoo. You understand what I'm saying? And there was even actually a slave owner, Madam something, she's a French lady. Back in the day, she didn't have a plantation. She had a house, and she kept all her slaves in the attic, and she'd be having these grand parties going on, but she would be taking these slaves, and she might cut off their privates and put them in their mouth. She would abuse them, but most of all, she wanted their bodily fluid, the red kind, and she would put it on her face because she said it kept her young. Now, how would Ali Carter, a young girl who ain't even lived life, even know anything about these things? See, guys, that's the bonus. And this is why you need to be following my channel. This is why you need to be hitting that notification bell. This is why you need to be sharing that stuff. Because as much as some of y'all saying, hey, man, he crazy, some of y'all, you guys know I talk with very good sense. I'm extremely articulate about what I'm talking about because, as I told you, I am ex-law enforcement. I've seen these things before. This is nothing new to me. Can you dig what I'm saying? I am the version of Gene Deal that just ain't on a big platform. Hey, my wish is to get on Joe Rogan's podcast My wish is to get on Joe Rogan's podcast. Or matter of fact, my wish is to get on Joe Rogan's podcast and to be asked certain questions about this case, and you'll see, just like when Gene Deal's answering them, hey man, I lived that same life as Gene Deal. He was a high-ranking parole and probation officer in New York for a very long time, but he also had a lot of street sense. And I'm the younger version of him. So all I'm doing is giving you guys some facts about some things that you don't know anything about. You understand what I'm saying? Just to get you guys up to speed and let you really know what's going on. But other than that, guys, man, it's time to go. I will be dropping more videos each and every day. I'm going to be dropping them once they're over, because I've been dropping them from the get-go. But other than that, man, share the video, subscribe to the channel, and be looking out for my lives, y'all. And if you need a consultation, man, because you're having a problem with your self-esteem, you don't know, you feeling that you got to fit in, you don't know how to stand alone, hit my email, man, ewinvestments702@gmail.com, and I will tap right in with you guys. It's not about the money with me. I want you guys to be aware. Haven't we made enough mistakes from having a lack of information? But other than that, you guys have a blessed day. Church.